everyone, welcome to my presentation on my UROS research entitled Invisible Agents, Networks of Learning in Late Antiquity. This project built on pre-existing research into networks of education in late antiquity, but instead of the more thoroughly explored what are students learning approach, we wanted to look into the teachers themselves. Specifically, we were interested in pedagogues, who were an amalgamation of teachers, childminders for young boys and men, guiding them through education and teaching them. We wanted to understand more about their role within the educational network of late antiquity, which was a very important network to anyone who had career aspirations in perhaps law, as it was common for students to stay in touch with teachers and for teachers to get in touch with people on behalf of their students. This project was very focused on the letters of Libanius, who was a highly educated 4th century teacher of rhetoric. We have so many of his letters available to us now, and we also have the research of Noel Lenski to help lay a foundation for this research. So our aims were to convert the letters into a visual format that we could use to draw some conclusions, and also to just see how we feel about network analysis in relation to late antique texts as we do. So firstly, we read the letters, plotted the key data into the spreadsheet shown below. We grouped the letters with connecting individuals. Then we created graphs from the groups, compared the graphs, and made some conclusions. So in this spreadsheet, you can see, for example, when I say that we created groups, unnamed pedagogue 3 in letter 2 is connected to a number of people who are present in letters 1 and 3, where he is not present. So it's really important that I grouped those 3 letters together so that when we created the graph, you saw all of those connections and not just the ones from letters 2. Just going to quickly define the terms degree and centrality, because Connect the Dots, which is the tool we were using for network analysis during this project, uses those two terms. So degree is how many nodes a given node can connect to, and centrality is a score which rates a node's connectivity. So if many nodes can access other nodes via that node, it has a high score, which explains why Libanius has a really high degree, because he connects to 304 different nodes, and a really high centrality. Albanius on that chart is the second highest degree in centrality, and he's miles away from Libanius. That graph on this slide, by the way, is every single relationship I plotted into the spreadsheet in one big graph. But realistically, we'd be looking at these smaller graphs here. These graphs can tell us quite a lot, because we can look at the degree and centrality and begin to question why there are differences. Why are some anonymous pedagogues less connected than, say, named pedagogues? So we began to notice these sorts of variation when we were making our conclusions. And it's unfortunate that we ran out of time, really, with these letters, else we could have been able to make some really solid conclusions at this point. But what we have done is we've laid the foundations for more research. So you can now examine many different groups from the spreadsheet data and from the graph data based on geography, chronology, the types of letters, the types of relationship, anything that is in that spreadsheet you can use as a baseline. So this invites scholars in from all sorts of disciplines who perhaps are not interested in going through Libanius's letters themselves that carefully, but still want to be able to use Libanius's letters. This shows the value of visual data and network analysis. This data is now much more accessible for any scholars wanting to use it, and it's a really good baseline for our investigations. We faced some challenges. As I say, we ran out of time. We lost some data as a file got corrupted, and we lost 3 weeks of work. But I learned a lot. I learned about the research processes themselves, the value and the joy of collaborative research, working with Dr. Wood and Dr. Williard has been an absolute privilege for me. And it's been an amazing introduction into collaborative research and research as a whole. This project has also taught me how to use many online tools and increase my digital literacy, not just with Connect the Dots, but also with file sharing platforms and Microsoft Excel. In terms of the future for this project, it would be amazing to finish the letters, to explore other possible network analysis tools such as Gephi and Graph Commons, and to begin to draw some more concrete conclusions. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.